I just got back from New Zealand, so I learned this new word, kia ora, which means hello, right, New Zealand. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Now that's a logical statement, right? Kind of like when I make money, then I'll be happy. When I have enough, then I can give. When the stars align and the timing's right, I can then chase my dreams. Now, all those statements are logical, they're scientific, but they're really skeptical. What if we looked at it in a different way? What if when I'm happy, I'll be satisfied with the money I make? What if when I give, I can then receive? What if when I chase my dreams, the timing will be right and the stars will align? Now, when I look at it that way, I get a sense of hope, optimism, and a sense of wonder. What if we're looking at it backwards? What if it isn't, I'll believe it when I see it, but really it's, I'll see it when I believe it? Now, what's a belief anyway? To me, a belief is a personal truth. It's a vision. It's a commitment to what can be. So I believed in a car repair shop. Now, we've all had that experience, right? We visit a dirty repair shop. The sales experience is opaque and pushy, and it feels like a necessary evil that needs to get done. I believe they could be different. I believe the car repair shop could be eco-friendly. The sales process could be transparent, even empowering, and it might almost be fun. Now, I started Green Drop Garage with a business partner. We were going to go on it 50-50. He was the brains behind my passion. I just had a belief. Beyond a belief and a vision, I didn't have any appreciable skills in the car repair industry or running a business. And he'd run a business before. So I remember 2 weeks before we started this shop that we had planned, an eco-friendly, awesome shop, he calls me and he says, "What's my salary going to be? I forgot to ask you." I said, "Salary? What do you mean? What do you mean salary? We're starting a shop together from nothing." He said, "If I don't have a salary, then I can't help you start the shop." And here I am trying to convince him, when we start the shop, we can then afford to pay ourselves. He didn't believe me. He wanted a salary, so he bowed out and left me in the lurch. So without him, I was just a guy with a vision. So I went to Starbucks. Sorry, Augusto. Went to Starbucks. And I ordered myself a tall venti tea. I didn't drink coffee back then, so it was a venti tea, 2 tea bags. I like it strong. And when I got my cup, I looked at the writing on the cup. And yeah, they spelled my name wrong again. But on the other side was a quote. You know, the Starbucks cup have those the way I see it quotes. So this was the way I see it, number 76. Okay, the way I see it, number 76, for anyone who wants to Google it, it's out there. But I'll give you the quote. "The irony of commitment is that it's deeply liberating in work, in play, in love. The act frees you from the internal critic, from the fear that likes to dress itself up and parade around as rational hesitation. To commit is to remove your head as the barrier to your life." So after I read that, and I remember exactly where I was at the Starbucks at the corner of West Burnside and Northwest Miller Road on the way to Beaverton. I knew exactly what I had to do. I had to finish my cup of tea. Because then I went home, dried out that cup, I flattened it, and I wrote on it, "I'm doing it anyway." And I sent it to my friend in the mail. So my belief in an eco-friendly, awesome repair shop that would be kind of fun to go to was finally paired with a commitment to the process, and that's all I needed. So I started my shop not knowing anything about business. And after I started, I then learned all the intricacies, the marketing, the sales, the finance that was required to create what I believed, to create and ultimately see what I had originally believed. And over the years, just like an image downloading from a dial-up internet connection, you see a little bit, and then the next layer comes in and it becomes more refined. And years later, it became much more refined, to where the banks actually wanted to talk to me. A few years later, I was at a Super Bowl party at someone's house. And in walks my friend's friend, and he had brought along his beautiful cousin who was visiting from New Zealand. And I was instantly smitten. I saw her and I knew that I had to go talk to her. My dog was with me. My dog got up and went over and said hi to her first. My dog was the ultimate wingman because I followed him and I talked to her for the 4 hours. I didn't know who played in the Super Bowl. I don't know who won. I don't know anything other than I talked to this beautiful girl that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. The problem was she was from New Zealand, and she went back to New Zealand the next day. Now, long story short, buy me a beer and I'll tell you the rest of the story. Over the next 10 months, we occupied the same hemisphere only 2 of those 10 months. And when we spent time together, it was magical. And towards the end of the 2 months that I was spending time with her, I found myself walking with her father. And I said, "Sir, I'd like to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. I'd love your blessing." And he said, "Don't you think it's too soon? You've only known each other a few months." And I said, "Yes, it is too soon. Now, we ought to really stay the course, get to know each other more, and in a few years, when it's perfect, the timing's right, we can commit. But I know it's going to be perfect. Why not commit now, and we'll make it perfect together?" Thank you. So his response, "Let's go ask her mother." Spoiler, we got married. Society is skeptical. Business partners and business stakeholders can be skeptical. Future fathers-in-law are going to be skeptical. Believing alone isn't enough. Just like believing you can fly won't launch you into the air. But believing gives you permission to take the next critical step and commit to a process that just might launch a hot air balloon, an airplane, or a rocket to the moon, right? Think about it. Everything new, exciting, and different has been approached in this way, where someone takes a few steps into the future, plants a flag, goes back to present time, and says, "I don't know how the hell I'm going to get there, but we're going there," and commits to taking that first step. Just like, let's say, Kennedy and the moonshot, Steve Jobs with the iPhone, some dude who thought the selfie stick would be a good idea. If you're thinking you want to do something new, interesting, and exciting, and you find yourself skeptical, poking holes in the belief and the idea of what you might want to do, maybe flip that script in your head. Maybe take a step over and choose wonder over worry, and when you do that, you'll start to commit to a process, create and ultimately see what you originally believed. Thank you.